The SaaS model defined the last decade. Companies sold software subscriptions, and humans did the clicking. That gives way to the agent factory. At the center are digital FTEs, role-based AI systems that compose tools, spawn subagents, and deliver complex work at scale. This changes the core economic transaction of the enterprise. You don't buy products from these companies, you hire their AI workforce. The relationship looks less like a software license and more like hiring an external accounting firm or a legal team. Building this workforce requires more than just connecting models to APIs. A loosely coupled pile of language model scripts and prompts will break under the operational demands of a real business. Transitioning from isolated scripts to industrialized AI labor is an architectural manufacturing process. It demands strict, non-negotiable structural rules to ensure the resulting workforce is legible, governable, and economically viable. The blueprint for managing this new workforce is found in Steve Jobs' project management philosophy at Apple. Jobs followed a 10-80-10 rule. He spent 10% of his time setting the exact vision and constraints. He trusted teams to execute the middle 80%, then returned for the final 10% to refine and approve. This operating rhythm maps directly onto the AI workforce. The human defines the intent and budget at the start. The AI workers execute the heavy lifting of the middle 80%. Finally, the human returns to verify the outcome. The nature of that final 10% is changing. Humans are no longer reading line-by-line code diffs. They are reviewing high-fidelity artifacts, logs, video recordings, and live previews produced over hours of autonomous execution. For a human to manage those boundary layers without becoming an execution bottleneck, the middle 80% must be orchestrated across 7 specific architectural invariants. We start at the top. Invariant 1 is the human principle. Every legitimate chain of action must originate with a human who sets the intent, defines the budget, and draws the authority envelope. A system that acts without a human principle is unowned. When a system is unowned, liability evaporates. You cannot align an agent if there is no human whose values are being preserved, and you cannot enforce a budget without an owner. But a person cannot manually orchestrate a workforce of dozens of agents. That introduces Invariant 2, the delegate. Every human requires a personal, identic agent. This delegate holds your specific context, represents your judgment, and brokers all downstream work on your behalf. This edge layer protects the human from the friction of manual task routing, preserving their role as a director of policy rather than a typist of prompts. Below that boundary lies the AI workforce layer. Invariant 3 is the management layer, the actual operating system of the AI native company. This control plane owns the full lifecycle of the workforce. It executes specific verbs, hiring workers, assigning tasks, governing permissions, and retiring agents when a role is complete. Economic discipline is not an emergent property of a language model. It requires this centralized ledger to track exactly who did what and at what cost, to prevent budget leaks and rogue processes. A fixed roster of agents cannot handle a moving problem. That brings us to Invariant 6, expandable policy. The management layer exposes hiring as a callable capability. If a new workflow appears, the system can provision a new specialist agent on the fly, entirely within the human's predefined authority envelope. This expandable policy transforms a static collection of tools into an elastic, autonomous corporate workforce. We then split the execution plane beneath those workers into 2 foundational pillars, the engine that does the computing and the system of record that holds the state. Invariant 4 dictates engine choice. Mission-critical tasks need durable execution environments, while routine tasks do not. Matching the runtime to the specific job prevents overpaying for reliability or underpaying for trust. Engine is what a worker runs on. Invariant 5 is what a worker runs against, the system of record. Agents do not invent truth from their context windows. They read and write to authoritative corporate state. Legacy architectures often scatter documents, search, and vectors across specialized databases. This creates a data movement tax, where teams spend half their time maintaining plumbing instead of building products. The mandate here is to consolidate by default. A unified hub like Postgres can handle vectors, semi-structured data, and work queues simultaneously, keeping the truth in one place. By separating transient compute from durable state, the system of record acts as an operational anchor. replacing the potential for hallucination in the context window with the verifiable truth of the database. A company that only moves when a human prompts it is an assistant, not a workforce. Real scale requires asynchronous motion. That brings us to Invariant 7, the nervous system. The workforce must run on an event-driven substrate, allowing schedules and webhooks to wake the system without human intervention. Reliability compounds against you in multi-step tasks. Without durable execution, a worker with 95% reliability across 6 steps will fail to complete its run 25% of the time. The event substrate solves this through step memoization and selective retry. If a process crashes midway, it doesn't drop the task. It recovers and resumes from the exact point of failure. This nervous system is what ensures task completion, guaranteeing that when an AI worker hands off a task, it survives system crashes and traffic spikes. Look at a real-world trace. A ticket arrives in Bahasa Indonesia, a language no active agent speaks. The management layer detects the gap, consults the authority envelope, and instantly spawns a new Bahasa specialist. The specialist reads customer context, replies, and logs the interaction. Throughout the sequence, no human was woken up to route, translate, or build the new agent. Because the invariance held, the 10-80-10 rule holds. The principal only reviews the final verified interaction. This architectural blueprint points toward a massive inflection point. AI workers are transitioning from internal software tools into independent economic actors. New payment protocols are live, giving agents the ability to authorize and settle transactions using signed permission slips. Armed with these mandates, an AI worker can autonomously negotiate contracts and buy enrichment data within a budget, completing tasks without human approval for every transaction. This shift requires physical reality, a multi-billion-dollar infrastructure build-out. We now spend more building workplaces for digital workers than for human ones. The Agent Factory serves as the industrial blueprint for this transition, scaling the digital workforce into a measurable, autonomous pillar of the global economy.